Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Just as an FYI, as you just saw, this information session is going to be recorded for anyone who is unable to make it tonight. In the coming days, it will be posted on our website, so you can actually access it there as well if you'd like to review it again. But welcome to the Growing Tomorrow Grant virtual information session. My name is Kelly Burns. I'm the Executive Director of the Ohio Farm Bureau Foundation. We are super excited to be able to offer this new grant program this year and kick it off. Because it is such a new program, we wanted to ensure that everyone knows a little bit more about it, the history, why it was created, and also we're going to walk through some of the requirements for the grant, including the application. So what we will do is we'll go through all of that. We'll have some time at the end for questions. So if during the call you have some questions that pop in your mind, please jot those down and know that we'll have time at the end of the call for those questions. So to start us off, we have joining us from Ohio Farm Bureau, Mike and Patty Boyert of Medina County. Mike is currently serving as a trustee on the Federation Board. And he also currently serves as a board of director on the Ohio Farm Bureau Foundation Board. He and Patty are very involved within their county farm bureau and in their local community. And so I want to kick it off with Mike and Patty. They are the visionaries behind this program. And no one can share this story and why this program was created better than Mike and Patty. So Mike, Patty, do you want to go ahead and share the background and your vision?
Sure.
Hi guys, everyone. Good to have you all here on board with us tonight. We really are excited about one of our ideas that my wife and I have come up with. You can tell I'm a very sensitive person, and so as I speak, sometimes I get a little gravel in my voice, but we're so glad to have you all here. We're so glad that you're part of the Ohio agricultural community and you have some ideas and you're looking forward to expanding those ideas into the future. And so I think it's awesome. I'm going to let my lovely wife start us out and then we'll chime in together. And so thanks for being involved. And like I said, you know what the cool thing about this is the inaugural class, and it's one of the neatest things that I think in our minds, we're looking forward to it.
We're excited. Just something we've been talking about for years, to something way to give back. With so many people leaving agriculture, it's a way to keep younger folk so they don't have old folk like us still in agriculture. Well, we need to get the younger people involved and get started, and it's hard. Coming up with the capital, coming up with the resources that you need. So in a way, we've come through that line and got to a point where we want to give back. And that's what started us brainstorm to come up with something that we could help with young agricultural professionals.
You know, if you watched our video that we put out for this grant, it's a pretty cool video. It gives our history and our timeline as to when we started and to where we are today. And life was never a simple deal for us as we started. And I always go back and I tell a lot of people, young folks that I talk to, when we started our journey back in 1985, we had some great visions. We knew what we wanted to do, but we were probably one of the earlier pioneers in the greenhouse industry and retail operations across the state. Home Depot, Lowe's, the two largest garden centers in the country, didn't even have a garden center in their establishments. And so when we went to the bank, we both graduated. I graduated from Ohio State University. My wife graduated from Heidelberg College. She's a fourth generation farmer. I'm a third generation farmer. She tells everybody that too, just so you know that. But as we started out in our world, we had a great business plan, and we thought, man, this is some great ideas. We're going to take it to the bank. We bought a piece of property up at the end of our road because we knew we had to be on a main highway, and we had an opportunity to buy it, and so we did. And we built our business. We started it out. We look like Little House on the Prairie up there with a little building and a greenhouse. And it actually did look like Little House on the Prairie. But over time, we've grown and we bits and pieces business together, and it's become a successful operation, we feel, in Medina County. As we started that operation, we went to the bank, and the bank, we sat down and we talked to them. And as the bank was talking back to us, we had some very good conversation. We presented a great business plan. We did the whole deal. But time went on. He said, there's no track record here. We can't give you a loan. And we talked a little bit more. And I said, okay, that's fine. So what I did is I appreciate your time. I shook his hand, got up, walked out the door, turned around and said, you made a big mistake. That was my drive. That was my passion. And when we did that, when I came home, I said, we're going to make this happen. This is going to happen. And one of the reasons we really brought this Growing Tomorrow grant into fruition was we do so many cool things in the Ohio Farm Bureau through the foundation. We take care of education for the young folks. We get them involved. We let them see what agriculture is all about. And then they come into their college years, our scholarship programs for the young folks, young ladies and young men going to Ohio State University or any college that they decide to go to in agriculture. The scholarship programs are immense, just absolutely awesome. But after you graduate from college and you have that plan, you have that vision, sometimes it's pretty hard to collect and come up with equity to start a business. And when you have nothing, like my wife and I, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together back then days, but we had a passion and we built relationships and partnerships. I'm going to repeat that. We built relationships and partnerships all along the way. We used community members to help us get moving in our direction we wanted to go, neighbors, and we just happened to do the right things at the right time. Now, I'm going to tell you all right now that in your journey, whatever passion or idea you have, it's never a bed of roses. We've had to take a few changes in our plan, our business plan. We have had to make a few different changes in the road we were heading down. There had to been a roadblock, and we decided, okay, Patty, what do you think we need to do? We talked, we took a different path. And those are some of the things as time going on that we were able to build what we had to do. I'll tell you all one other quick story about our business, and I've told this to quite a few groups. 2005, my son was in a major tractor accident. My father-in-law was diagnosed with cancer. My dad died of cancer. In that month in October, my wife and I were in the hospital. Every day, one of us was in there. We didn't put a lot of attention to what we were doing in our business. I came home one night and I sat in my office and I came back to the farm and I said, Patty, we need to make some major changes. That was our biggest roadblock. And let me tell you something, that put a lot of oomph in my butt and her butt. We made some major changes. We did a lot of things differently that we had to do. And that roadblock has led us to success. We could have given up at that time. And that's why I say it's okay to fail sometimes. But if you get into that situation, really think it over and change your path and move down take that journey down a different road. And so as time has gone on, through the Ohio Farm Bureau, we took us 3 years to get this thing up and running. And it is so cool, guys. I am so excited to see what the both of us are. We are so excited to see what you guys can do with the next generation of Ohio agriculture. If you want to talk to either one of us, people that are excited about the youth in Ohio, it is us. We have 6 kids. 4 of them have their own 3 of them have their own operations. 3 of them help us. 2 of them help us, and they're all in ag. And you want to see 2 proud parents to watch this next generation move forward. It's really absolutely cool. You got anything to add?
Nope, you said it all.
And so we're really excited. I think a couple things that I would love to tell you all about as you prepare for your journey here on this Growing Tomorrow grant is Kelly's going to talk a little bit about our 4 buckets, our areas of impact, what it's going to take to do it. Your business plan, I think, has got to be top notch. I think you all are super good at what you can do, and you have your ideas. And when you put it on paper, tell your story, tell your journey, and make it impactful for those that are reading it, that they want to say, these guys have a great idea, and they want to take it to the next generation. That to me is where it's all about. And if
show your vision, what you can do, what your plans are, what your dreams are. Put it on paper, make a good plan, and present it.
Yep, show your love, guys, because it's all about that. If you love what you're going to be doing and you got that passion, that fire will always burn. Trust me.
Thank you, Mike and Patty. That was great. To dive a little bit more into it, as you heard from both Mike and Patty, this is really a passion and a vision to get more young people and entrepreneurs in agricultural careers. The foundation is committed to helping youth and young ag professionals find rewarding careers within our industry. I think many of us have seen just in our own lives, in our own operations, and throughout our industry, how hard it is these days to really attract folks to come and work or be leaders within our industry. And as the #1 industry in Ohio, it's vital that we provide opportunities for folks to really come in and see how great agriculture is as a career. So the Growing Tomorrow grant program is really trying to solve a lot of those problems. So #1, it's hard to start your own business, right? And your own operation with the cost that there is today with land and other opportunities within the industry, the lack of education and understanding around where your food comes from. Ag literacy is so huge. Another big obstacle that we're trying to solve with this program is just the importance of how new and regenerative practices in ag technology can help to really ensure our overall sustainability of our industry, right? And then finally, it's really impacting where we live, our communities. And I think there's no better example of that than Mike and Patty and what they've been able to do there in Medina. But food insecurity, providing opportunities within our communities to really help that. So these are some of the things that we're trying to solve through this program and what we want to support. So as you guys have probably seen through the website that we have on Ohio Farm Bureau, ofbf.org, there are 4 main areas that we want to support business plans that specifically address one or more of these different areas. So as I mentioned, sustainable employment impacting your communities. So if we can foster, as Mike said, that next generation of skilled workforce or leaders and provide them sustainable opportunities for employment, that is great. That's how we can impact our communities and really help to spread the message about agriculture. Excuse me. The second bucket is to really provide opportunities within our own communities and our counties for folks to learn more about agriculture. So again, it hits on this ag literacy, helping to spread awareness and really help Ohioans and folks in your community understand where their food comes from. The third bucket is sustainability, of course, adopting new techniques or practices. So if you have an existing business, for example, and this is an area that you want to expand and have a huge impact, that would be a great example there of what techniques you're implementing to help sustain the industry. And finally, finding new ways to grow sustainable food and distribute it throughout your community. So as you all start thinking about this program and the opportunity that it could afford you, focus on these 4 areas, at least one of these areas, because that's how this program is not only going to change the trajectory of your life, but it could change the trajectory of someone else's life and many others as well. So grant funding for this program is really important. We will provide grants to new businesses or early stage businesses within agriculture. So keep that in mind. What we will do now, I'm going to turn it over to Melinda Witten to share a little bit more about the application process, the requirements for this grant. Melinda joins us. She is our Senior Director of Leadership Development here at Ohio Farm Bureau, and she'll walk through really the process of it all and what you need to know as you develop your plan and you begin the application process. Melinda?
Good evening, everybody. I have shared my screen and hopefully you guys will be able to see it, but this is the application itself. And so we do have a PDF of this that you guys can take a look at to use as a working template. So if you would like to have a copy of that, please let me know. A few of the logistics, Kelly and Mike got to talk about the really passionate, exciting stuff, and I get to talk about the boring logistics of the actual application. So I apologize if my stuff is not as exciting and motivating as Mike and Patty and Kelly. The deadline for this application, and this application has to be filled out on the online JOT form, is July 31st at 5 p.m. So that's the deadline for the application. In August, we'll announce top 3 finalists. In September, those top 3 finalists will have an opportunity to present to a panel of judges on their proposal. And then in December at the Ohio Farm Bureau annual meeting, we will announce the winner. I'm going to now go through the application here just for your information. If you were trying to take notes really quickly of the 4 buckets that Kelly was talking about, they are very well described and detailed here on the application. So we have the sustainable employment, ag education and awareness, creating environmental stewardship, and supporting communities in need. And there's a description in for each of those. So once again, if you have questions about which bucket you might fall into, there's a really good descriptor there for you. There's the timeline there as I had outlined earlier. So into the nitty-gritty of eligibility. An applicant can either be married or single to apply for this, but if the husband applies for the project or the grant this year and wins, the spouse is not available or eligible to apply next year. Does that make sense? So that this business proposal can only win one time. You do have to be good. You have to be in good standing with your county farm bureau. So you do have to be a farm bureau member, and you do have to be at least 18. Kelly hit on this a little bit earlier, but your business, the business in this proposal either has to be a new business or within 5 years of operating. So 5 years or less is the good example for that. Now, if you have an idea for an ag technology or an ag software, that is not what this program is for. This is to start somebody in production agriculture. So keep that in mind. This is not for technology, software, app development. This is very much focused on agricultural businesses. The next piece that I wanted to highlight is if you are in a partnership, LLC, or corporation, you do need to have a letter of consent from your partners. Just letting them know that you're letting us know that they are in support of you applying for this project. The previous applicants who've been awarded grant funds cannot apply again, but if you apply this year and you are not selected, you're more than welcome to come back again next year. And one of the biggest pieces that I wanted to hold up is that the grant funds have to be used specifically for the project that you're outlined. It cannot be used to pay off debt or to pay any taxes, utility, rent, loans, anything like that. This has to be focused in on building that business. And then I have a few people here that are ineligible to apply, and those are folks who are on the State Young Ag Professionals Committee or the American Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee, a previous winner, or if you are a current Farm Bureau board trustee and or employee. So once again, these applications have to be submitted electronically online via JOT form. We will not accept mailed or emailed applications. There are 2 parts to this application. And when Mike was saying that you had to show the love, show the passion, show what you're excited about, that can easily be done through Part A. And Part A is a video. and I'm gonna pull this down here, a 3 to 5 minute video. We would like for it to be a nice video, but it does, you don't have to hire a production team, obviously, for this. But in this production video, or in this video, this is where you have a chance to show us your idea, show us your passion, show us what you're excited about. And so you can describe your business, who you are, what you hope that it generates, the impact that you want to make, which one of those buckets you're going to fall into, and then also your goals the next 5-10 years. And then if you can identify how Ohio Farm Bureau has played a role in your operation or how you hope it could. So that is the first part, is a video. And then the second part is the application, where we're really diving into the business plan and we're understanding the scope of your proposal. So part B is the executive summary, the mission statement, your projects and goals, your project strategy and analysis, and then your project business plan. And I'm going to go through these in a little bit more detail so you can see them on the application. I must not have the right thing put up. I apologize. Let me try and go here. I apologize. While I'm fixing my screen, does anybody have any questions to start off with? No?
Melinda, while you're pulling that up, I do want to share a little bit about the end. After you've submitted your video, your application, the next step in the process is for our review panel to review all of those applications, score them, and we'll have a top 3. Our goal is to award $50,000 to 3 top applicants at annual meeting in December. So that's really exciting. I just wanted to make sure that was shared with you all, because that can really make a difference in building your business and creating your business. So Melinda, it looks like you've got that pulled back up here.
Yes. So $50,000 is nothing to laugh at. And with that, though, Mike and Patty were so passionate about this project that we wanted to make sure that we were giving this to a very legitimate, driven family that wanted to grow their operation. So what you're looking at right now is the actual application. And so part A is the video, and it describes everything that you've done there, and you simply just upload it into the system. And then part B, this is the written form. So the executive summary. So outline the description, the commodities that you produce, the size, the scope of your operation, location, time that you've been in operation in that business entity that you're applying for. Your mission statement, and describe the values and or principles of your business. Now we're going to jump into the project goals and objectives. So what are your measurable goals, specific measurable goals for this project? And then list the objectives of each goal, and then how you will work to address that if a challenge arises. So then you're going to jump into the project strategy and analysis. So what strategies are you going to implement if you're to accomplish your project and goals? And then what sets your project apart from your competitors? We want to know that you've done some analysis in that space. And then question 5 is simply your business plan, or hopefully the business plan that you have developed that you would have taken to a lender. So your risk assessment and management, your financial projections, your balance sheet, we'll ask you to upload that. We'll ask you to upload your profit and loss statement. And we'll ask you to provide a short description of your growth plan for the project. And then to describe the ownership and responsibilities of that. And then part G is asking you to give an overview of the succession plan in the event that you might need to pass this operation down to the next one. So some of you might be in that space, some of you might not be. And that is the application in its totality. I am going to stop sharing my video now, but I do want to hold up that as we developed this, we tried to make this application or this grant very similar to what it would be like if you were to go into a bank, a lending institution. So you're going to have if this business is, up and running and you're trying to get it going and you're working with investors, a lot of this work will have already been done, is our hopes and goals. So I'm going to stop talking and ask for questions about the application and about the grant itself.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in real quick if you don't mind. If you guys have questions, please ask, because now's the time to do it. As I looked and listened to Melinda go through her process as for your project plan, and that's probably the most critical part of the whole deal. And we know when you look at it, it sounds like a lot of work, but a lot of work today can make many benefits down the road. And if you put your time and your effort into it, and you show your drive and your vision as to where you want to go and what your ideas are, it does two things to me. It solidifies your fact that you have that passion. You want to go for something that you want to do. You want to stay and be involved in agriculture. And guys, ask the questions now, man, because don't worry about that. That looks like a lot of work, but a lot of work is a lot of work you're going to put into it after you receive the money, if you receive it, to make sure that plan is taken to the next level and taken off. So, you got it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't, because it's where you're heading. It's your ideas. You're driven by. So go for it.
Mike, I just got a question message to me. So let me clarify real quick about the award amount. We have $50,000 that we hope to give out between the top three finalists for this. So depending on the quality, depending on the number of applicants, our panel of judges will be able to determine how that is broken down and the awards that we have. But we are committed and hopeful that we'll be able to give out a total of $50,000 for this year. Again, that will be announced at annual meeting during the foundation breakfast on Friday morning here in December. And then, of course, that money we'll be able to start using right there shortly after for your work in 2025. So might seem like a while from now, but it's going to go by fast for sure. Any questions? Any thoughts?
Hey, Mike and Patty. Hey, I'm from Cuyahoga County, Robin Peth Pierce. I'm your neighbor, so I'm hoping I didn't miss the annual flat sale, which I don't think I did. I think it's coming up.
Yes.
So would you consider, so I am a 4-H advisor, a longtime 4-H advisor. Would you consider projects that really try to take what I call a captive audience? My 4-H kids who I teach livestock production, agricultural principles. Would you consider projects that try to take that audience and then do some workforce development ideas that I have in terms of then linking them to farms that need workers?
I'd say yeah.
I mean, that's a good possibility. I'd have to look into, we'd have to look into it and see if it meets all the requirements that, we set forth. But, it's getting the younger people into agriculture, and that, that is, something we think on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Kelly, if I recall, and I'm looking at the buckets right now here, and it's businesses that demonstrate the viability of agriculture and center environmental stewardship. It's also talking about farmers actively working to support sustained communities and a better understanding of agriculture, how farmers learn from each other and teach new and different agriculture methodologies. And then the other one is the creation of long-term sustainable employment opportunities within the Ohio farming community. If you're going to hit one in those buckets, Kelly, make sure I'm telling the right story here, but I think you're right in that 4 buckets if you're going to do that. One of the reasons we looked at, we have folks, a son that lives in Iowa. We travel quite a bit. We do not take any of the main roads. We go into a lot of these small towns. The communities that surround these agriculture, the agriculture communities in these agricultural towns, if you look at them, they're dilapidated, they're going downhill. And we really feel bad. We hate it when we see this, because the community was so strong at one time, and it went the opposite way. And if we can, community to us is so important, because without a community around Boyart's Greenhouse and Farm, and we know that we wouldn't be where we are today. We support the community quite intensely, and they support us right back in return. And so if you keep a strong community around you, wrapped around yourself that way, and the workforce is there, people can earn a good income. It's a win-win for everybody. But Kelly, you jump in on that one, because this is what we talked about, and I think it fits into one of those buckets.
Sure. And Robin, as long as it is a sustainable business that you are operating, that's the key here. We may, Robin, actually offline want to talk also. The Ohio Farm Bureau Foundation also has another signature grant program called our Youth Pathways into Careers in Agriculture grant. And that's where we really focus on those partnerships and connectivity with youth and providing more programming for them in terms of workforce development, and partners such as 4-H, FFA, and other organizations. And that grant gives out up to $100,000. So I think we've got some options here. I'd love to talk to you more about your ideas.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question.
Anybody else have questions, ideas that you're thinking about?
Mike and Patty, going forward, like, do you see this as like just grain or just livestock or business? Or if it was to happen for 5 years, what kind of variety do you think you would see occur in that timeline of different type businesses?
I think any type of agriculture, what we see, it's such a broad array of things, from niche agriculture to row crops to livestock. So I think, as time progresses, where we're getting into more of a urban area, it used to be very rural. Now, like we're in that any other business, the greenhouse garden center business, we also have livestock. But that's, so it depends on the community you live in, what type of business would fit best for you. We're not looking for any particular type.
When I look at Ohio agriculture, the diversification in Ohio agriculture is so big. And I mean, you go out to Iowa, it's corn, beans, soybeans, and not even wheat, maybe cattle and hogs. That's it. And a few poultry operations. And so when you look at the diversification in Ohio agriculture, there is so many cool things that we do in communities that we can help support the community, as well as bringing new ideas. I'm going to give you a good example of that. I have 2 young boys that are my sons, and they wanted to get into selling meat. COVID hit. They had this little freezer up at the end of in our store. It was one of these chest freezers. I said, "You're never going to sell any meat out of there." And they said, "Why not? It's a great place you just put it in no, number one, you won't sell it. They can't see it." I said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll buy you the freezer. You will not get a penny of any of the meat till that freezer's paid off." I'm going to tell you something. They took it to the next level. They put that freezer in 2.5 months. They paid an $8,500 bill off during COVID on that meat. And they're restocking that meat freezer all the time. So it's your ideas as to how you take it to the next level, but it doesn't have to be corn, beans, soybean, cattle. It could be anything, fruit crops, vegetable crops, sustainable agriculture in a building where you're raising leafy crops, all those kind of things. These are all different ideas that each community needs to sustain themselves. And so, man, it's up in the air, and I think it could be anything.
Kendall, do you have a question?
Thank you.
What was your names, guys? I missed it.
Greg and Andrea Fogel.
And what, you guys are from where?
We're from Wayne County, Ohio.
Okay.
There you go. You're right in the back door.
Neighbors.
Yeah, thank you. Neighbors, yes. All right, thank you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Kendall Foster. I am about an hour south of Columbus in a little town called Amanda. We are
Okay.
currently doing the quarter half and whole freezer beef pork business. And my goal, dream, I'll try to do it without crying, is I want to build like a storefront so I can carry our products plus other people's products within our Amanda community. So
Excellent.
so for funding, I would like to be able to build a building, and then I would need to be able to run more cattle than we currently have, like fencing and that kind of stuff. Can that all be used in that grant money? Like, do you guys have to, is there going to be somebody to approve? Do we have to turn in, if we would get it, turn in receipts and that kind of stuff for what we're doing? Or does that all just need to be outlined on the application?
It all needs to be outlined in the application. The more detail, the better, as you know, you have your plan. The way that the grant would work is that we would have a grant agreement between the foundation and the business, and we would do payments. It's typically 3 payments throughout the year. So we
Okay.
would load a big chunk or work with you, you know, with your needs and look at the business plan that you have in your budget. It would be a larger chunk at the beginning, because of course we're going to need more funds in the beginning to get launched, right? Then it would probably most likely do a payment like with a mid-year report around the middle of the year, June 30th or so. And then once things are done, or however your timeline runs, we'll do a final payment once everything is up and running. So
Okay.
that's how it works. You do not have to turn in receipts or you know, ask for approval with every purchase.
Okay.
Kendall, awesome idea. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And you can do
I-
so much for that. Let
Yeah.
me tell you.
And it's great
Yeah.
for the community. It fits those buckets.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and I just started going into our local school and reading books on ag. So I really want to be able to dedicate some more time to that and get some funding for books and to provide to the schools and to the library on agriculture in general. So I've got lots of ideas, just
Okay.
trying to do it all and work full time and row crop farm. So it's a lot, but I've got a vision and a dream, and I really want to make it happen.
I
So
think
thank you
can.
guys.
Yeah.
I think you can.
Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question in the chat real quick from Kathy. Would a business that does agricultural pressure washing qualify? They do hog barns, calf barns, equipment, etc. Kathy, I think if you can create a business plan that can impact one of those 4 areas by doing that, yes, absolutely. I'm not quite sure where that would play into with one of those buckets, but I would really consider reviewing those and seeing how your business plan can give back to the community, how it can impact where you live, and maybe help with, you know, some ag literacy perhaps, or you know, new sustainable technologies. So think through that in terms of how that can have some big impacts in your area. Good question. What other questions do you guys have? Anything? Great. Well, we can go ahead and wrap up the call. Thank you all so very much for joining us tonight. I very much appreciate it. It's exciting to hear some of your passionate ideas and thoughts around what you could do with this grant funding and how you could impact where you live. So thank you again for your passion, your excitement. We're excited. What we will do is we will follow up and send out an email And in that email, we will again link our website, link the application form, and we'll also attach that PDF that Melinda went over of our application. That way, once you start putting pen to paper and kind of helping with that to design and just really know what your needs are going to be for the application. I will share, once you start the application, there is no stop and save button. So you need to fill out that application all at once. So I think that PDF will come in handy as you start to develop and put your thoughts together. Again, this recording will be up on our Growing Tomorrow Grant website in the coming days. So please feel free to play it back, share it with others who may be interested. And Mike, I want to leave the last kind of comment.
I want to mention one last comment here, guys. It's really good to see that you all are excited about what you want to do. And as you focus on this application in the 4 areas that we're looking for, I think one of the things I love is people that are passionate, people that come to the table and they're ready to go. And so when you do that, make sure you put that in. The other thing I really believe very strongly is we didn't get where we are today in our world without great partners and without relationships in the community. And those 2 things are very important. Kind of touch on that as to where you're at, what your thoughts are, and build on both of those. And then once you have your plan that you have and you're ready to sell it, if you read the last our Ohio magazine, Patty and I were in it, we told our story. But there was also a young lady in there, my daughter-in-law, and she told a story about how she promotes and helps us move Boyert's Greenhouse and Farm into the future. And if you're going to put that business plan together, one of the most important things you're going to need is how do you connect with the community that you're living in, and make sure you talk or you think about that part of it in your story as to how you promote it. And, if you put a lot of those things together, man, I'm going to tell you, it's a win-win. And is it going to be a perfect thing the first time? Probably not, guys. But you know what? That's okay. You're going to come back, you'll circle around, wagons around, start that little fire, do a little more talking, and then rebuild on it. So I'm really excited that you all came on board tonight. I'm sure we're going to have more. Keep the fire burning. Keep Ohio agriculture strong, and keep your family unit together and do this as a team. Appreciate your time and efforts, and I'm signing out. Peace out to y'all. Have a great night, and give it your best, because there's an opportunity here. And Kelly, let me ask you one question. We're doing 50,000 this year. If we get this to grow, this could be something that could be even bigger and better down the road. Correct?
Correct.
So let's go, guys. Let's hammer at it. Let's have fun.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.